everybody, and welcome back to the garden and my second video. It's been quite a challenge, I can tell you. I actually uploaded a video last night, but there were so many problems with the lip syncing. I don't understand what was wrong with it. It was okay when I played it before I uploaded it, but once it was exported it just did its own thing. So I've had to sort of fill in bits today to try and put it right. So there will be a few continuity issues, but I'm having a go. I don't know if there'll be video number 3, but let's just see how this one goes. So this is one of my regular jobs, is constantly going around the tubs, making sure that I've pulled off all the dead heads to encourage more flowers. And as you can see, these have possibly gone beyond their best now. But I'm going to try and encourage them to continue flowering. Even the nasturtiums need an awful lot of attention at the moment. They had such a massive flourish of flowers that they've all started to die off at the same time, and it's something you just have to keep on top of. And then the calendula, these need a lot of attention. It seems every time I walk past I find another one that needs pulling off. For more this side, there's another one that's going over. So this is my next job. What I'm going to do now is, if I can zoom in, this is the Aquilegia that flowered in the spring. I've left it till the seed heads dry, but the plant can be very susceptible to mildew, and as I've got sweet peas and peas nearby, I don't want that to happen, so I'm going to remove them. I'm going to take you into the greenhouse now to show you exactly what I've got growing in here. Okay, now this is something that I really wanted to share with you all. This is a little lemon seedling, and one afternoon when I was cooking, I was cutting up a lemon and I was about to throw the skin and pith away. And I thought, no, I'll save the pips and see what would happen. So, potted them up. I had about 10 pips, I think. Look at that. I've got about 6 seedlings coming. I don't know if you can see these. There's 3 in this pot. So they're supposed to be notoriously difficult to grow. And when you do take the pips, you have to take the outer shell off to expose the soft seed in the middle, which is what I did. It took about 4 weeks to germinate, but I'm really thrilled with that, and if one of them survives, then it was worth the effort. These are my sweet peppers. Now These have all been grown from seeds I've kept from supermarket bought fruit. I don't know if you can see that, if I can get a bit closer. It's got a couple of fruit coming. I believe this one has as well, if you can see up in the top there. So this is my jalapeno chili peppers. This is quite a tall variety and it's very different from the one next to it, which is the Cheyenne, and these have got some nice fruit growing. Can you see those? These are the red onions. They're all curing at the moment. In fact, they're almost ready to be hung. These are the brown onions. Again, they're almost certainly ready to be hung up now. And then as I come to the very end, there's the garlic, which I'm hoping to be able to plat. And all of these were grown over winter. Okay, these are the tomatoes that are on the other side of the greenhouse, and as you can see, they're doing okay. There's one there's got a split, so that's probably because of inconsistent watering, but I'm getting on top of that now. But it's been incredibly hot and I do long shifts, so sometimes, although I water them in the morning, sometimes it's just not enough. Sometimes I need twice a day, and if I'm not here, so that's why they split. But it's the only one. All the others seem really, really healthy. There's some at the back. I don't know if you can see those at the back. And some down here. Okay, so that's the beefsteak. And then next to that is Gardener's Delight, which has got tons of fruit on. That's become a really tall plant. It's gone right up to the roof and it's still got flowers at the top. So I might be pinching those out, otherwise it'll just weaken the plant. But that's doing okay. And then next to it we've got Alicante, which is probably my favourite, and that's got some lovely fruit coming. And these, I'll probably make some homemade pasta sauce with these when they ripen, and I'll be able to add this lot in. So these next to it are the Italian plum tomatoes, and they're really juicy. So there's plenty on there. Some more here. Okay, now this is something that I wanted to show you. It's just all to do with pests in the garden, and Julie, you suggested that I did something on this. Look at that. That is my sweet corn infested with black fly. Look at the ladybirds and the hoverflies feasting on them. If you can see that without me casting a shadow. So one of the things I pride myself about in the garden is that I won't use chemicals. The problem with that, of course, then, is that you have to manually deal with all the pests. Now, as you've just seen on my sweet corn, I've got the black fly. Well, back in late June, I was growing my broad beans, but ended up losing the whole harvest to black fly because the infestation was so bad that I couldn't get rid of them. I'd squirted them with the hose. I tried pinching out the tips of the plants because obviously they favour the the new fresh tips. There didn't seem to be any ladybirds around at the time, or the hoverflies, so there was no predators attacking them. And in the end, they not only overtook the stems, but they were covering all the beans as well, so I didn't want to eat them after that. So I had to dig the whole lot up. So that's one of the biggest problems when you don't use chemicals, is that you could actually lose a whole crop. And in that case, or rather in this case, I lost all my broad beans this year. And obviously, having just looked around the garden now, the sweet corn's now under attack. But the difference is this time is that there are hoverflies everywhere, there are ants everywhere, and I've even got quite a lot of ladybirds now, so they're all doing what they're supposed to do. So hopefully they'll keep them under control. One of the other problems I have in my garden is slugs, and I think that's the same for everybody. But my neighbours must think I'm absolutely barking mad, because as soon as it's dark I go out at night with a trowel, a bucket and a torch, and I pick off as many as I can find, and they go in the green wheelie bin, and then they have a little bit of me time on the leaves that are in there before they go off to slug heaven. So that's how I manage those. And I've been doing that for some years now, and I think the population has actually gone down dramatically. Well, with snails, that's a different problem. They're just as destructive, but I don't have anywhere near as many, and I don't like to destroy those, because recently I've had quite a lot of song thrushes in the garden and blackbirds, and obviously they like the snails. So again, I leave that to the predator to finish those off. The other pests that I have are aphids, greenfly. They absolutely covered my rose bushes, which is next to the greenhouse, and what I hadn't expected is that they were all coming into the greenhouse, and where all my peppers were and chilies, they were setting up home on there. So I had to manually pick them off every day. So that meant picking up the plant, looking underneath the leaf, looking on top, and squishing any that I found to try and get on top of it. And it was a losing battle to begin with, but I've just had a quick look around the garden, and their season must be over, because the rose bushes haven't got any on there at all, and I've not seen them in the greenhouse for a while. So at the moment, the biggest problem I've got really is the black fly, and I don't really remember having them on the sweet corn to this extent in the past, so it'd be interesting to see how well the ladybirds and the hoverflies do at controlling them. So that's about it really. If you've got any really good ideas and tips, let me know. If you comment in the section below, that would be great. So that's it. That's my second video. See what you think.